So we are into February here in Utah, and we still have snow on the ground. Shocking, I know. We've had some crazy weather lately, like huge snowstorms that come in and just dump a ton of snow, which is kind of not the norm, but it's nice, I suppose. Everybody always says we need the water, and we do need the water, but it's chilly still. It's nice. Winter is hanging on. I think it's waiting until April when the final season of Game of Thrones comes out, which, by the way, I can't wait for. So new episode today, new episode next week, new episode after that week. It's been a lot of fun recording episodes lately, and I love it. I love being able to do some of the episodes that we've done. Last week was the super fun episode with Steph and her friend Janelle. If you guys haven't listened to that one, I encourage you to go listen to it. It's really, it was a really crazy episode, and they had a lot of fun recording it, and it was a hell of a good time to listen to, so go check it out. Also, right now, if you go to the website, energyislovepodcast.com, up at the very top is a banner you can click on. That's going to take you to the place where you can get your Energy is Love t-shirt. So if you want to support the podcast, and at the same time you want to walk away with a pretty sweet t-shirt, pretty sweet, how many more T's can I put in there? But they're sweet, they're fun. There's a couple different styles of t-shirts as well as a hoodie on there that you can pick up. Only $20, go check them out. Like I said, the easiest way to do it is just go to the website and click at the banner at the top. That'll take you right to where you need to go. So if you haven't already, go get your t-shirt. As always, we appreciate all the support. We have so much fun doing the podcast, and thank you for listening. If you guys weren't listening to the podcast, then we would just be talking into microphones in our living room 90% of the time. So it's pretty cool that you guys are out there listening and enjoying the podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by the Refinery Barbershop. The Refinery Barbershop is one of those old school barbershops that harkens back to the day when you used to be able to go and relax, hang out in a very, very cool environment, connect with some good men, get a hot towel placed on your face, get a straight razor shave, get your hair trimmed, get your beard trimmed up, whatever it was. But they've brought some of that old school energy here into the present, and it's an amazing place. So if you need a beard trim, if you need a haircut, if you need a fade, if you need anything really in that realm of stuff, go check them out. The Refinery Barbershop is located in Springville, Utah. You can find all their information online. You can also go to our website and click on the sponsors tab and find their info there. But I highly, highly recommend it. I highly encourage it. And when you pop in to get your haircut or get your beard trimmed, let them know that you heard about them on the Energy is Love podcast. So this is just a fun episode. Steph and I got a little deep on some topics, but by and large, we just got to sit back and relax and kind of chat. And that's fun. We like that. It's kind of a change of pace after the last few episodes that we've done. And we've also got some episodes coming up where we get quite a bit deeper into some things as well. But this one's kind of lighthearted. When you listen to the episode, this will make sense. But we were joking about during the episode, I was going to name the episode, or title the episode, I should say, Jesus is a Bastard. And Jesus is not a bastard. And it'll make sense why when you listen to the episode. But we do get off into the space of religion a little bit. Talk quite a bit about Jesus and the Matrix. We talk a lot about the Matrix and also the parallels between the Matrix and Jesus. I don't know. You know how it goes sometimes with conversations. They just go off into the most weird and random places. And this is one of those. But you guys get to sit back and relax and enjoy it. And that's the benefit of the podcast is you never quite know what you're going to get. But we always strive to give you some good content. We always strive to give you something to think about and hopefully better your frame of mind of where you're at right now, this present moment while you're listening. So wherever you are, turn it up, relax, and enjoy another wonderful episode of the Energy is Love podcast with Steph and I. Here we go.
You're listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is Love.
The Energy is the Love podcast.
The Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is Love.
The Energy is Love podcast.
The podcast for the universe.
The Energy is Love podcast.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
No, here's coffee.
I know, right?
Yeah.
What were the sounds that you had to make to feel better?
Those weren't the real sounds I gave you. I just was being funny. I think they might have been like somewhere just M's. So, and then I don't know if it was like woo or like woo.
We should do the face video too, so that we don't have wrinkles.
The face. Oh my God, that was awesome.
That was awesome. We both are sick. I'm realizing now as I'm listening to my voice, I'm like sounding super nasally.
You're sounding super bapa mau mau. I don't know how to say bapa wow mau.
I don't have any idea what you're talking.
You're bapa mau. It's like, I don't know. Well, if I wasn't sick, I could make the sound. It's that sexy bapa mau mau.
Bow chicka ow ow. Is that
well,
the
there's
one?
that. I wasn't saying you have your porn voice on. I was just saying you have your seductive voice on. But we can bow chicka bow wow.
Is it Sam Elliott?
Huh? I don't know.
I'm trying to think of the actor.
Sam Elliott is an actor. What are you going for?
I definitely have the
You just gotta get your drawl going on if you're gonna.
Or my this is Dark Batman. I'm Batman.
You're Batman. Sam Elliott. I don't. Oh, that was funny.
So this is we're gonna future cast because
right
now it's
7th,
February 7th, and this isn't going to be coming out for quite a while.
Well, I haven't decided. No, I mean about the last one, the one that isn't up in the air yet.
The one that is out.
The one that may be out. Maybe they know what we're talking about. Maybe they've listened to it, and maybe they have not.
First off, we got some feedback on our In the Thick of It is the name of that episode.
In the Thick of It.
Episode, I think it's 127. The one that we're still fresh off of trying to decide whether or not it was a good idea to do it or not, or whether or not you wanted to do it, or whether or not you wanted it to release.
I have not listened or read any feedback, anything.
But we got some good feedback.
What'd you get?
People liked it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, people thought it was beneficial. People thought it was helpful.
Yay!
Yeah. I forgot to tell you, yesterday, Josh texted me. My buddy Josh, Josh and Misty.
Okay.
And they had listened to it.
Yeah. Oh.
And enjoyed it and found it beneficial.
Really?
Yeah. See? That's a good thing.
Them.
I know.
I want to go. Like, Misty is awesome.
Yeah. So that was a good thing.
That's a good thing.
That was a good thing.
Your friends liked it.
Yeah, because Josh and Misty listened and liked it. So that's enough. There you go.
Yeah.
So we're happy.
I immediately feel awkward talking about that episode. That's how still unsettled I am with it.
Yeah.
Maybe I should listen and see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I really don't think it was as bad as you remember it as.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it turned out to be a good episode that was beneficial for people to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yay.
And then Tequila Colada.
Which may or may not be out at this point.
It is out at this point.
Well, you haven't, as of February 7th, it is not out.
Correct.
But when they're listening to it, either they're like, holy.
We can't get people lost on timelines.
You just said future casting.
I know.
I'm giving 2 possible futures. Maybe you've heard it, maybe you haven't.
They have
Stranger
heard it.
Things.
They have heard it. It was a completely new type of fun episode of the podcast. And it was refreshing.
It was definitely refreshments were served. So
Did you have fun doing it?
Oh my God, so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
It was a good time, right?
It was a great time for all the parts of it that I remember. It was fantastic. I'm ready for more. Maybe microphones will be involved or not. Who knows?
There will be some future episodes, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. So.
Yes.
No. Because I do that because I'm curious, but I'm afraid.
Okay.
So I can go listen to it and see, but I haven't been able to do that completely. So I get to the feedback with you. I'm like, okay, tell me this part. Because you've already edited it.
Well, it's already out there.
No, it's not.
Because we're in the future.
Oh,
from now.
See? Okay.
People have already heard
panicked.
it. It's episode 128.
Maybe they've heard it.
Tequila Colada.
Tequila Colada.
Were you going to ask me a question about it?
Yeah, but you just panicked me with saying it was already out there. So I just I forgot what I was going to ask.
So at this point in the podcast, if you aren't completely confused what day it is or where you're at or what episode this is, welcome.
You were going to say.
Welcome to we just watched The Matrix. There's that scene where Neo goes into the Matrix for the first time with Morpheus, and he's not actually in the Matrix. He's in the place where they practice stuff for the Matrix. And then like it shows the shot of, you know, what the world looks like now, and it's all doom and gloom, and then it pans down and Morpheus is sitting in a leather chair on the side of a cliff, and Neo is standing behind him, and it's all welcome. What does he say? Welcome to the. Oh my goodness. Well,
I can't help you because I wasn't out here yet, and I haven't seen that show.
Welcome to the real, or something like that, or welcome to the world of. Oh my God, I'm doing it terrible justice.
A little bit. Well, you're not doing it justice at all. You don't have it. You're doing it great justice. I'm sorry. Do we need to Google it?
No, it's okay. But yeah, we watched that movie recently. For the 17th time. But it was fun. 20 years. I think it's 20 years old. I think it came out in 99.
Yeah.
And it still holds up.
It's good.
It does. It's super good. And
quote worthy.
It is quote worthy. If you can remember them. Mr. Anderson.
Ew. See? Okay. No, he did such a good job. Like, I can't stand him because he's such a bad guy.
He is a bad guy.
Good. Like, even the way he articulates his words, I'm like,
inevitability. There was a lot of stuff in that show. But I had a thought after watching that show, or in the process of watching that show, because the whole thing with the Matrix, could you have a thought? Is that we are in the Matrix, or in the movie The Matrix. That's the thing, is they're stuck in the Matrix, and the robots, AI has taken over, and now they're using humans as fuel because they don't have solar power anymore, blah, blah, blah. But I was thinking about hold on, we had to pause for my belly.
Was that your belly?
Did you hear it?
I looked at Angel. I was like, what is she doing?
That was totally my stomach. So in the movie, not aliens, in the movie, the robots make humans. So humans are no longer born.
So they're freak bots.
They're made, right?
Okay.
So humans aren't born. They're made by robots.
Okay. And
kept as in their little pods of shit for fuel. So I was thinking about this.
Okay.
We are humans now.
I think I'm confused now.
And there's a chance
yes.
that we were created and we took over. So think about it, think about the Matrix and how they were made by robots. So technically, Neo in the Matrix was created. He was not born. Okay. So he's not a real human. Like, they have the differentiation between Tank and his brother Dozer are like genuine 100% humans, right? They're not from the Matrix.
Okay.
They were born in Zion.
Okay.
So they were physically born, which means they were made the old-fashioned way. Okay. But Neo and Morpheus and Trinity and all the other characters who have the ability to go back into the Matrix were made. I'm getting somewhere.
You are.
So what if at some point we were made and then we took over and we no longer remember what made us? So
are you talking about okay, I'm sorry. Are you talking about Adam and Eve here?
No, this has nothing to do with Adam and Eve or God or anything like that.
They were made and then, Eve.
No, but like,
or so the story goes.
Because what if we were made and then we just don't remember our makers? So we evolved or we killed them or something like that.
We killed our makers?
We could have.
Holy
we very well could have.
We're going dark. All right. I guess Like, I have not went down that route. I was not prepared for this kind of rabbit hole to go down. So let me think. So we were created. Well, yeah. I don't know. I've kind of always thought of it like a science, like we were a science experiment in a sense, like little.
In a lab.
Yeah, little petri dishes that, and here we are. And now we've learned to flourish and colonize ourselves. But
this episode's going to have a lot of coughing and sneezing and nose blowing.
I've got the tissues if you want me to throw it to you. But I've never thought of it like, and then we took over. It totally could be like the creation and we're being watched, but I guess that sounds religious too. I don't know. You know what? I really haven't pondered it that much. Could it be? Because you think of all the different ways you see things. So I have a lot of opinions, but being created and killing our maker is going to take me a minute to go down that rabbit hole.
Because essentially that's what they're doing in the Matrix is they're killing the robots who made them.
Okay, yes.
Killing your maker.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
I mean, yeah, it happens. I'm sorry, my brain's not going to do this today.
That's okay.
I'm
It's
trying
still
really
early.
hard, but it hurts right now. I'm
it's
like,
pretty early in the morning.
Are we? Okay.
I had another question that
Oh,
was
God.
stemming from somewhere, but I
Okay.
forgot what it was.
Well, I'm being a great guest so far, so
You're not a
sure,
guest,
go
you're a
ahead. What am I?
co-host.
I'm a co-host. Well, I'm maybe I'm supposed to take you out right here, right? You created this. Now I'm like, I can't have this conversation, so I'm gonna throw coffee at you and tissues and be like, okay. So
I can't remember what else I was going to ask.
it's okay.
What else I was going to talk about.
Was it about the Matrix? I cannot believe how bad that made my brain hurt. I don't know what happened.
The Matrix will do that.
Yes, it was the Matrix that made my brain hurt.
Welcome to the valley of the rill or the canyon or...
That's where you lost me.
I can't remember what he says.
You know what? If you could figure that out, I bet you I could have the conversation about how we were created and killed our maker and now we're here taking over. Maybe that is.
I think this episode will be out right after the Oscars or the Monday before the Oscars.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to future cast that as well? Are you going to give us your...
Predictions for the Oscars?
Oh, that would be...
How funny would it be if this comes out right after the Oscars?
That would be funny.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd really like to think that A Star is Born is going to win Best Picture.
Yeah.
And it very well might.
It very well might. I don't think... I love that show. But I don't think I've seen any others that
Any
I can
of the
even...
other ones that are nominated.
Yeah, that I could even balance it off of.
Yeah.
I mean, really, after you watch A Star is Born, is there anything else to watch?
Some people didn't like it. My mom didn't like it.
She didn't like it?
She didn't like it.
I don't understand.
I know. I don't either.
My head hurts again.
I don't know how you cannot like it.
Oh, all right. Huh. I really liked it. I was very emotionally involved throughout the entire movie. I felt the whole thing. I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel what? Okay. So you do this thing. Like, this is where I'm super glad we don't do video, whatever, because I like to not have to prepare. Okay. I'm sitting here as is. Anyways, maybe I'm naked. You don't know. We talked about that. There are definitely things missing, but maybe not.
Naked casts.
Our naked casts. But there is a part, and I'm sorry, I smacked my knee. Having that little echo coming in the
I
background.
don't think your knee minds.
You don't think it? Well, I think you're gonna mind.
Or maybe
but
that's
like-
me smacking your ass. I do this thing.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah, you made me lose my train of thought. You did the look. That's where I was going. So you can't see what we look like is great, but I wish they could see the look where you just like freeze and kind of look at me. And I think, what did I just do wrong? What did I just say wrong? And I get nervous and lose my train of thought because I don't know if that's the parent kicking you under the table kind of thing. But you're clear over there, so you can't kick me to say, shut up. So you're giving it to me again. It's totally what it is. Okay.
I'm going to close my eyes.
I'm just going to look over here. So I'm going to...
It's the look of like, are you going to say something?
See, I am sounding stupid.
No, you're not sounding stupid, but it's like, I don't want to just sit here and interrupt you if you're about to say something.
I'm not saying anything.
Well, this is going to be a great episode of the podcast then if you don't say anything.
Well, you're the host, so it is what you make
the
it.
The hostess with the mostest.
You are the hostess with the mostest. Is that... Well, hostess is female.
It's okay, I'm binary.
So are you a hoster? You're binary. Is it binary or non-binary?
I'm fluid. I'm gender fluid.
You're gender fluid.
I'm very fluidity. I don't think we can have that conversation about that stuff because...
No. Moving on.
I don't want to offend people.
Yeah.
You know, by my... I don't even think they're my beliefs, my thoughts. A long time ago, I remember talking about it on the podcast about my differentiation between my thoughts and my beliefs. And a belief is a thought that has been thought long enough that you hold on long enough and you mull it around. You mull it around.
Until it becomes a belief.
Mm-hmm. So I have thoughts, but I don't have any strong beliefs, with the exception of everybody gets to do what they want to do. Everybody gets to feel the way they want to feel. Everybody gets to identify the way that they want to identify. Mm-hmm. And I'm totally fine with that. Good. But I don't think we should discuss gender fluidity or binary people or gender pronouns.
I want to throw something out there.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. Get nervous. I'm afraid of offending people too. But that is because I don't know enough. I don't know enough pronouns. I don't understand enough that I'm afraid when I'm referring to them that I'm going to piss them off, offend them by saying something wrong. And it's not because I'm judging. It's because I do not know any better. So maybe if that happens, they could see it as a education moment, like a teaching opportunity, education moment thing where just explain it. Help me understand better. I'll call you whatever you want me to call you and refer to you and see, not. But if I do it wrong, if I say the wrong thing, I might not be being a jerk. I don't have that information yet. So by all means, enlighten, help.
Ignorance
is not bliss, but I
don't know if it's ignorance. It's not ignorance. It's just like...
It's uneducated in it.
Yeah, but uneducated makes it sound like you're not educated.
In this topic, in the right pronouns to use for everything that's coming up, there's things I don't understand. I don't care. But it's not that I don't care. It's that it doesn't make a difference to me. It doesn't change the way I see you as a person. I think that's still okay. I don't know. I see you as you. If I like you, I like you. If I don't, I don't. It doesn't matter what you identify or how I'm supposed to call you. However, if that speaks to your heart and that is a connection that is built, I definitely want to use the right pronouns or whatever. I don't know how I graduated high school, seriously.
Am I giving you?
You are giving me that look, and you freeze me every time I go to say something meaningful that's meaningful for me, and you give me that look, and I feel completely inadequate sitting in the space. Oh God, I'm not gonna look at you.
No, I'm listening to you.
So I just want to use it the right way. So out there, because so many people get offended if you use the wrong pronoun. Maybe that person you're talking to is an asshole, and maybe they're being an asshole to you because they've got their brain isn't going to think any other way than they've been accustomed to the agreements that are made. And maybe that person just doesn't know, doesn't understand, doesn't, give them a moment, explain it, and be patient when they say the wrong thing till they figure it out. That's all.
Yeah, it's such a big topic of confusion.
Yes.
I think everybody has confusion surrounding it.
Yes.
Because nobody wants to offend, nobody wants to upset, nobody wants to trigger, nobody wants to...
Not nobody.
Well, that's true. There's
plenty a lot of people that will do that just to be assholes.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the sensitivity comes from.
Sensitivity training. That's so funny.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I don't think I should talk too much about it because I am fairly certain that I will hurt somebody's feelings.
Well, let's move on.
It's because I feel like I speak up. Oh, coffee.
That was
coffee
hot.
foul. Are you okay?
It's okay. My body caught it. Mother,
You're doing great.
I don't know what's happening.
She just poured coffee all over her lap.
That's good. It's hot. It's getting hot in here. Holy shit,
I tend
hot.
to express myself a lot of times too quickly without really taking into consideration how it's going to affect other people.
Is that
What?
I don't know if that's such a bad thing, though.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily a terrible thing because the reason I do, I'll give you an example. I don't know if I've ever, I think I've told you this before. There was a girl way back in high school and we were all sitting around.
It's always a girl.
We were all sitting around having this conversation about something. And I don't even remember necessarily what we were talking about.
Excuse me.
But we had to have been talking about religion or something like that in the context because what I expressed was Jesus was a bastard. And not like, motherfucker, you're a bastard. But he was technically, by the definition of the word bastard, where your mother and father aren't married, Jesus was a bastard because if you go off the stereotypical Christian story of, Mary and Joseph and then God impregnated Mary with Jesus, by immaculate conception, well, that would make Jesus a bastard because God wasn't married to Mary.
Shit.
Baby, you fail miserably when it comes to silencing your cell phone.
I fail miserably. Well, the thing is I don't fail miserably at silencing my cell phone. I fail miserably at remembering to unsilence it. So here's this one. I'm going to silence it. And then 3 days, people are going to be
3 days later
that I'm not responding to anything because I never hear my damn phone go off.
So I
Stevie
offended.
was telling what she got on her mouth test. So I'm going to smile face her. It's okay. Yay. She's rocking it. Good job, Stevie. Okay.
I offended this girl by saying Jesus was a bastard.
I could see that.
Keep in mind, her father was a bishop.
Read the room, Craig. Yeah. Read the room.
I definitely did not read the room. And she left the library crying.
Oh, man.
And I wasn't trying to offend her. I wasn't trying to upset her.
What were you trying to do?
It's the thing that I do a lot of times where I'll play like the devil's advocate.
Were you doing that or were you like, that seems kind of like, I don't know. That kind of seems like I definitely want to hear your side because from that outside, it would see you're sitting in a room talking with people, having a conversation with a girl whose father is a bishop and you're like, hey, Jesus is a bastard. I'm trying to find where like,
yeah, but it wasn't a one-on-one. It wasn't a one-on-one conversation with her. It was a group of us, of kids talking about, like I said, I can't remember exactly what the hell we were talking about.
It was in high school. That's okay.
But it was probably something about, religion and Mormonism.
Were they talking about like going out to the movies and you're like, hey, everybody, Jesus.
Yeah. We were talking about what we were going to have for lunch that day. And I'm all, Jesus is a bastard. And
I don't know why she got offended.
She stormed away crying. I don't know what her problem was. She clearly was overly sensitive. But what I was getting at is I tend to speak sometimes too quickly without reading the room properly.
Yes.
But it's because inside of my own like head and inside of my own heart, I know that I'm a loving, caring person that isn't like judging people or isn't going to hurt people's feelings and obviously I hurt her feelings. But what I mean is like, I always feel like because I'm a good person inside and I know who I am, then like, I'm not going to look at somebody and judge them or be mean or anything because of what they think or who they are or what they believe or how they identify. So you think you get a pass in a sense? Well, in my own head, I get a pass, but I forget that like not everybody is inside my own head and realizes that I'm a nice person and that I'm coming from a genuine place of being nice.
Yes.
And so, sometimes I like to play devil's advocate because at the time, who knows what the fuck I was thinking about or what I believed in regards to Jesus or religion or Christianity or anything like that. I was like straight up just posing the argument of like, if we look at it technically, he was a bastard.
Well, I mean, I guess you have all that. And I think that if what you're feeling is your heart, like your heart, you don't need to worry about what anybody else thinks. You get to say what is true to you. However, like if you're just saying things for a reaction and like like there is a difference. There is a part to where you don't throw things out there if you're just trying to go for, I don't know, who's to say? I think you say whatever the hell you want. But it's funny that memory stuck out. You don't remember what the context was. You don't remember this. I mean, do you really remember how many people were there? But you remember what you said, and you remember that it hurt this girl and she left.
Yeah, I felt bad.
So do you think you would have felt bad if you were coming from a place that was deep in with what you were really thinking, if you were speaking authentically and she reacted that way? Do you think you would still feel like, oh man?
No, I mean, I felt bad because I hurt her. Like I hurt her feelings. Do you know what I mean? And I wasn't trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I was just trying to pose a topic.
Pose a topic.
Yeah. Like a different way of thinking or looking at something. And in an effort to expand your, I mean, that's what the whole fucking thing of this podcast is, you know, so maybe I don't want to talk about pronouns and gender fluidity.
And I think it's perspective. It is definitely perspective on all these different ways and how, I don't know, man, that's a tough one. I don't know that, like, my beliefs have changed so much. And, you know, I may be here, I may be there. And there are times that I let people just talk. You know, I had this sweet woman, for instance, at the post office, the sweet elderly woman who poured out her story to me. And then, like, she held my hands and gave me so much love and was telling me, you know, we need to go to church. This is what, you know, we need to pull together, just like really building the church and all that. And I did not agree with a single thing that she had to say. However, I saw her eyes. I saw the love that was pouring out of her, and I connected with that. So I let her say all that, and I just smiled at her and gave her it back. I mean, obviously I didn't go to church, but like she took a little piece of my heart, just all that love. Like, I'm a stranger, and she felt that so strongly, and she has so much love in her that she wanted to share that. I'm like, that was beautiful. Like, I shared in the love with her, but not in her words. That's probably off topic.
It's not off topic.
I think if I was to say, you know, I could have said, well, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in the Mormon religion. I know it's a thing, but that doesn't speak to my heart. I think, you know, there's a lot of things that I do not believe in with that. And I could have posed a different topic, a thing for conversation, but at that moment, that wasn't what I needed to do. So I don't know. Was I not true to myself in that moment? Or was I true?
Yeah, because you don't have to, like, especially with some old lady at the post office.
She was so sweet.
You're not going to say, have you ever thought about...
Jesus was a bastard lady. I don't know what you're talking
your church
about.
Full of shit. And Jesus was a bastard. No, you're not going to do that to the old lady at the post office.
See, that's like reading... So what was the conversation? Maybe what you said was completely perfect. I don't know.
I can tell you what I'm not going to do.
Say Jesus is a bastard again.
I'm not going to title this episode Jesus is a Bastard.
Jesus Christ, you made me spit and spill coffee with that one. No, you should not. Oh, and I say Jesus.
I know.
I don't know. This might be the Jesus episode. We're all about Jesus.
If you are a believer in Christ, we apologize ahead of time.
Well, I believe in Christ. I believe in Jesus.
I know.
I just believe differently than I think other people.
And see, I've changed my belief. I used to think he was a real person.
You don't?
And now I'm thinking about it.
Is he just a story?
I think he is just a story.
I think he was a real person.
I know. But like, I don't know. There's a part of me that really wants to believe that he was a real person. Not because I'm Christian, not because I believe in Christ and our Savior and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But I want to believe that he's a real person because there's a part of me that's like, he was just this really cool guy. And he was all about love, mm-hmm. and he was all about acceptance. And I want to believe that. But why? Why? What matters? It doesn't matter if I believe in him or not.
No, it doesn't. I believe.
But it's so long ago. How can you believe something that was so long ago? Because if we look at time, I'm going to keep talking because I feel very strongly about this.
Let's hear this then.
If we look at time, it's not in the past. It's all present. It's all happening. If we look at the story of Christ, if we look at the Bible, if we look at all of those things, how often, like you could take my journal that I wrote 4 years ago and read it and then try to rewrite what I wrote, even word for word, that's going to work like slowly. Oh my God. I'm not making any sense with what I'm saying.
Yeah, you went from like Jesus to the Bible.
So somebody's going to take
things.
my journal 20 years from now and they're going to copy it. And then they're going to take that same copy of my journal 20 years afterwards and copy it again and copy it again and copy it again. Even if they did it in 20-year increments, you have to think about the mode of copying. Like I wrote my journal in pen. So 20 years from now, when it's copied, it may not all be legible at the time, right? Because it has faded, or maybe it got wet or something like that. So they're not going to be able to fully copy it word for word for what I wrote. They may have some spots that they fill in. And then the 40-year copy of that may not be written in pen or pencil. It may just be directly written on a computer. Right. They may just type it up. Right. And then if we go the next 20 after that, 60 years down the road, it might still be on the computer, but it might be on some other format or some other way that we can't even imagine. Now let's just fast forward 200 fucking years from now. We don't have computers anymore. Not only that, think about this. If we wrote my journal on a fucking floppy disk, we have no way of pulling up that floppy disk. Or we might pull up that floppy disk in some weird fucking format with today's technology where we're not going to get the full interpretation of it.
Think of how many listeners don't even know what a floppy disk is.
Yeah, Google that. So that's the problem that I have is we're taking a Bible that has been, or we're taking a story of Christ that has been passed down from generation to generation, where it could have been written on scroll. It could have been written on a computer, but they didn't have the technology to transfer it. So there's all these different things. That's the problem that I have is we're telling stories that have been told thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And who knows what the original fucking story was.
You're talking about two different things though. You're talking about whether or not you believe Jesus was a person or whether or not you believe the stories in the Bible.
But that's what Jesus is a story in the Bible.
Well, there's more to it. Like,
There's not, dear. He's a story in the Bible.
No, I mean, there's more stories in the Bible.
Yeah. But that's it. He's a story.
But, he is a story.
So you believe the story of
No,
Jesus?
I don't believe the story of Jesus. I believe that Jesus was a person. I believe that he had all of these cool things. I believe that the work, I believe in Buddha. I believe in all these things, right? They have all this energy and all this love and they create all these things. And then I think, it's like the telephone game.
It's exactly like the telephone game.
Yeah. So it gets changed. It gets changed. The next person forgets this part of it or adds this part of it to make it more exciting. I think he was a real person. And I think how beautiful, all about love, all about acceptance, which is why that's why I struggle with organized religion, because I'm sorry. I don't believe that they're so cruel to people. I believe that it is about love and acceptance. Now, when you say, well, if you don't believe, that there's the control, then you shouldn't believe, murder should be allowed, however. But murder isn't an act of love. It isn't accepting you. Seeing somebody that has committed this crime and maybe, that's a whole rabbit hole that I don't want to go down. But that act isn't love and acceptance and being who you are and being true to who you are. I don't think is violence. Violence is a reaction to pain inside, to the environment that you're in, that what has happened, what you have witnessed, what you have, what has grown inside you from things that have been placed. It is not an act of love, even if it's an act of like revenge in a sense,
passion,
an act of passion. Like there's still like love can be at the base of it. I guess it all comes because it's a love that you have that has caused the pain, that has caused the break. So I guess it does all come from love. But he just accepted and didn't say, I accept as long as you are this. And then the churches come around and say, as long as you are this, and you have to do this. And by God, like he made the comment of, what, the glass houses, the stone glass houses. It wasn't glass houses.
Jesus didn't make that comment.
Who made that comment?
The Bible. That's a story.
Well, I happen to agree with that.
The author.
Who made the stone comment?
The author.
No, stop.
But there's
Who did it
40,000 authors.
Okay, can you answer me that? Who quoted the without sin shall cast the first stone or whatever it is?
I have no idea. I don't know. I'm
well, then you can't criticize
studier.
me for saying it wrong.
I'm not criticizing you at all. I'm doing my thing where I play the devil's advocate.
Well, you can do that. I don't believe in the Bible.
But you believe in Jesus.
I think the Bible has. I don't believe in the story of Jesus.
You just believe he was an actual person.
I believe he was an actual person.
So let me give you another way of.
I wasn't done, but whatever. No, forget it.
No, please finish.
No, this is my spoiled face.
Finish.
No, finish.
Finish him.
Wow.
That's a shout out to Mortal Kombat 1992.
Total annihilation. God, I don't remember where I was now. I don't believe in the Bible. And that's like, oh my gosh, because I think there are good things in there, and I think you can get comfort, I guess. I've never read it. Who knows? Maybe if I read the Bible, I would be like, oh, I'm going to church. I don't know. I think it is absolutely the stories and the spins and leaving this part out and encouraging this and the stories that you create to build community or to build ruling, I don't know, control. And then it goes and it just builds on top of that to where it was used. How can we use this as a control thing? Because it goes, people get in the way. So I think Jesus was a real person. And even if it's not, even if somebody that was writing this stuff down created that in their head and it's not, and it was just things that came out, I believe that maybe there was so many of him going around doing those things. I just believe. I just do. Doesn't mean I believe in church. Doesn't mean I believe in organized religion. Doesn't mean that I think that, immaculate conception. I'm sorry. I don't believe in immaculate conception. I don't think that's how it went down. I think humans were out there being humans, and I don't have the shame for that. And here came this amazing person that did all these wonderful things and believed in love. And believe in love. And it wasn't, people were cruel.
I have a follow-up question.
Oh, I had a follow-up comment. What's your question?
So think of it this way.
Uh-huh.
We're going to go back to the Matrix.
Oh, Jesus.
Neo is Jesus in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's resurrected, he's reborn, he's the savior, he does all these kind of different things.
Absolutely, yeah.
What if...
Is that Scientology?
Well, think about it this way, because we have so much recorded history, we have so much time that has passed, but that we also have a massive amount of time that isn't recorded that we have no idea. And the further we go back, the further it gets like super hazy and we're just making best guesses.
Yeah.
So what if a long time ago there was a movie, because civilization was at the point that we're at today where we have movies. So what if a long time ago there was a movie about this dude named Jesus who did all this really cool shit.
Holy cow.
And then we just have retold that story over. So it's like if I was to write in my journal about this cool movie, The Matrix, and I literally was like, oh, there's this cool movie.
And then there's all these
fucking
the
stories.
Church of Neo.
Yeah. Over and over and over and over.
Yeah, that could be a thing. Because if also you think about it, every time the scientists think that they have it, and this is fact, and this is what it is, they dig a little deeper, go a little further, and find out, oh, this was wrong. It was this. There's this timeline now. All this. I could go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Of the wipeout, the redo.
Yeah.
I could.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
You're right. It doesn't.
Because we live in the present moment. You can believe whatever you want to believe. If you believe in Jesus and it makes you feel good, then by all means.
Okay. Now, see, I got a problem. With the way you just said that.
Because that makes it seem like I'm minimizing your beliefs.
No, because it absolutely is. And this is something, let me finish, because I feel strongly about this one. There is so much of, I don't have the same beliefs that other people have, organized religion, but I don't make them feel bad for believing. I'm like, oh, well, believe whatever you want. There's so many times that it has came up of criticism and making you feel like you are stupid if you happen to believe in that. I don't do that. Do not do that.
But I literally just said, believe whatever you want to believe. I didn't say, believe whatever you want to believe, idiot. I didn't say, you can believe that if you want, but you're a fucking fool. I didn't say any of those things. I just said, people are free to believe whatever they want to believe.
You did say it that way.
Was it just the tone that I used?
It was the tone, because I've heard those things come out of your mouth before with that same tone. So now when you cut words off at the end and say, believe whatever you want to believe, and use the same tone, I'm still a little sensitive.
You're just filling in the silence for people of you're like, this is what he really means. He really means that if you believe in Jesus, you're a fool.
Let's move on. Let's move on. I'm not going to touch that one. Okay.
No, I think, like I said, I think at the end of the day, you get to believe whatever you want to believe.
You do get to believe. And the tone was not in that one.
And then also, your belief becomes your reality. We've had that conversation before too, where like, if you believe in heaven, you're going to go to heaven when you die because you believe it.
Maybe.
Yeah. I remembered what I was going to say way back at the beginning.
Oh, good.
We got our first negative review for the podcast on iTunes. So all the time I'm like, hey, go rate and review the show, blah, 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 right?
Uh-huh.
And somebody went ahead. Well, we've had multiple people go ahead and review the show, but somebody left a negative review.
Do you remember why?
I do remember why.
Can we talk about it?
Yeah, of course that's the whole point. Like somebody was upset that I am profane and swear on the podcast.
Yes, the explicit
rating did not clue them in that there might be some explicitity in the episode. I think it's hilarious.
It's funny.
It's very funny.
And like it's your opinion's your opinion, but
exactly.
Like really? Okay.
I also think it's a good sign that we got a negative review.
Yes, I do too.
Right? Like that's the thing that, like, once you start to grow in size, then you're going to start getting people that give you their opinion when it's negative.
So do you think that there's any chance that he continued to listen? He or she?
I think
it was a he.
I guarantee it was a he. I think it's a good chance that he's continued to listen.
What do you think? Because we're future casting, so the podcast with Janelle and I is out there. And what do you think is going to happen with him in that? How do you think? Because I was very I get free with Janelle. We just talk about whatever, and then alcohol. We had tequila. Tequila is it changes who you are.
It does not change who you are.
It changes who you are. Some people are nice. Some people are mean. Some people are brave and bold. Tequila changes me.
It doesn't change you. All it does is clog your filter.
What do you mean clog my filter?
Because it just clogs your filter up with tequila. So your filter no longer works.
That made it sound like I was really filtered. My filter is completely clogged.
No. It removes the filter.
So I am...
It takes your filter out from your brain.
So,
the pathway from your brain to your mouth becomes filter-free.
And actions.
When you're on tequila.
I'm a little wild too. So tequila changes you. We're just going to... But things were said. He's like not going to be okay with that.
No, he's not. Like if he has an issue with me saying fuck,
I blew his brain up.
Yeah, you did, because you guys said a lot more than just fuck.
Yes.
But I think it's funny.
I think it's funny.
The part that I think is funny in his comment that he left on iTunes is spirituality, or no, he said love is not profanity, or profanity is not love.
You're right.
Something like that.
I
should have pulled it up so I could read it word for word.
They can look it up.
And that I find that very, very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the way that I picture that person, and we'll stop talking about him. Mm-hmm. But this whole idea that you can't be spiritual and say fuck at the same time, or if you're going to embrace love and energy as love, and you're going to embrace spirituality, and you're going to live this path of beauty and light and love, then you have risen above the path of lower vibrations and profane language and all of that bullshit. Mm-hmm. Because I guarantee you that the Buddha said fuck. Or the Dalai Lama today.
You think the Dalai Lama?
I guarantee he says fuck. I guarantee he stubs his toe and he says fuck. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't stub his toe and then look at it.
I think anybody that stubs their toe gets a pass on whatever flies out of their mouth.
Right, I guarantee. Because he's human. That's the end of it. Like, we're human.
Oh, I don't... it's so funny how deep that programming is, because I'm like sitting here agreeing with you.
He might say something else than fuck, but the equivalent of fuck in some other language or culture.
But my brain just went with that. My brain just like hesitated with that, because it's just a word. It's just a word.
Just a word.
And
4 letters, just like love.
It's not a big deal. However, when our kids like say just a word,
I know the boy's expressing his.
He is, and he is very comfortable saying bastard. Maybe it's because he heard his dad saying Jesus is a bastard.
Does he say? I haven't heard him say bastard a lot.
Oh my God, he'll say it quiet. He was like, "What a bastard!" I'm like, dude, like, can you not?
It's just giving you a different perspective on the person.
He does. He says that. So, and then he looks at you like, "That's right. I said it."
That's
he
right.
owns
What are you
it.
gonna do?
He owns it.
Mom, I just said bastard.
And it's so funny because like, it's just a word.
That's it.
And it's a way to use expression. You can say whatever you want. Hold up. Can you not swear around me, child? So what is that? And then when you say the Dalai Lama says fuck, and I'm immediately going, oh, like, I don't know about that. But it's silly.
Yeah, it's just
silly.
it's just the energy that is placed upon words that over time, culture, society, everybody has designated these words. It's the same thing with the topic in regards to gender neutrality and all the freedom to express who you are.
Yeah.
Where we have placed so much energy surrounding some words, when in reality, that's all they are just sounds that we make with our mouths.
But maybe those are the words we should be using. Because if there's so much energy behind these words and we want to use these words to express our thoughts, because what do they say? Like, your words you're casting spells with your words. Every time you speak, you're creating. So whether you're speaking hate or speaking sadness, or I don't know, I'm getting burpy now, so I'm not sure what I'm speaking, but I'm speaking love, you're manifesting. So when you're saying the things that you don't want, that's what you're creating. I hate this. That's what you're creating. When you're saying, I love this, thank you for this gratitude, that's what you're creating. So maybe when you have these words that you have put this energy in and you include them, you either amp the whole spell in a sense with love, if that's what you're creating, like, oh, I fucking love you. Maybe that's a whole lot of love coming, or, the opposite. Like, I can feel that, because when I say, I fucking love you, it's fine. It comes out. But I was about to say, I fucking hate this. And like, not this, but just like whatever. And that hurts in the moment to say that. However, if I'm pissed off and I feel that comes out like nobody's business without issue. So what if that energy is what's charging and creating that situation more?
Well, think about the word fuck and how many different meanings it has,
mm-hmm.
and how many different ways it can be used.
Mm-hmm. And
it comes down to the energy behind the use of the word, the tone, the inflection, the demeanor, your body language. If you say it really high, if you say it really low, all these different things, that's just all energy, the energy behind the word that is used. So words.
You are seriously low right now.
I know.
I want to hear, like, I've got a couple of songs I want you to sing to Stephanie. Me, and we can use the word fuck any way you want to in a little while. Damn.
But that's all it is. It's just an expression of energy that because do you think a lion roars differently? Of course they roar differently, right? They have different tones with the way that they roar and the noises that they make. And the other lions know. Like, think about the mama bear that, like, huffs and puffs and growls or whatever at the baby bear. The baby bear's like, oh, fuck, mom's pissed. Or they're like, haha, mom's just like half-assing it because it's not a big deal. But when like mama bear growls at asshole that's coming to her baby bear, then everybody knows like, oh shit. Yeah. It's just an expression of energy.
Yeah.
Same thing with fuck. So you can have the word fuck on the Energy is Love podcast, and it doesn't mean a goddamn fucking thing other than an expression. It's just words. Sensitive person out there.
That's allowed to be sensitive.
Exactly. Feel free to listen. Leave us another rating and review. Cocksucker.
Well, it's okay. He's probably never going to hear this one, because if he did listen, and the one with Janelle and I, which you know what I was just going to say? I have no regrets about, which means
you have no regrets.
I have no regrets.
Which means
totally
have
already heard it. So
Tequila
there
Colada.
you go.
Episode 128. It was a fun episode. If you liked the episode 128, Tequila Colada,
I just got nervous.
let us know.
Maybe I was all brave and bold right then. And then I'm like,
I have another question for you. That's going to be another big topic.
Big topic. Here we go.
So we're going to go back to, we have finished the second season of The Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Oh my God. Yes.
So good.
So good.
So good. It's on Prime. Tits up or tits out? It's tits up. Tits up.
Tits up.
If you've watched it, thank you. Because we have some part to do with it.
We could have been arrested.
For what?
Saying fuck.
Yes, we could have.
Maybe this dude's really old.
So I want to ask you, what about that show in regards to because there were so many times when we were watching it where you got so upset, so triggered, so frustrated because of the way things were back in the day. It's set in the late 50s, I think. Mm-hmm. It's set in the 50s. What about that time period and the way, that show is just portraying, some aspects of culture during that time period that were heightened for the television show, I'm sure. However, we know from experience that shit was like that back in the day. So what about that was so hard for you, or what was so triggering for you?
There were so many things that were triggering.
What's the first one that comes to mind?
The first one I think was the most, because that show was awesome and funny and hilarious. I loved it. It made me laugh. It made me but the things that got me, third season. Oh my God, like now. The thing that got me the most, where I think I became the most vocal and frustrated, was the way that they treated children. And like the dad, Joel, when they had the split up, will take the son, Ethan, but Esther, the baby girl, who's, I don't know if, was too little or whatever. So, and you know, with those tits, she's not breastfeeding. Okay. That was a thing. Anyways, he won't take her. Like, it's just taking the son. Like, you have 2 kids. What the hell? And so that was frustrating. And then they go on vacation, and the vacation is the kids immediately get scooped off with other people. So there's no vacation with their kids. Now, I'm not saying you have to take your kids on every vacation. Like, no, go on vacation by yourself. Have that build, have that thing. But when you take your kids on vacation, oh my God, like, what do you mean somebody else is going to take them over here? No. And then when they had dinner, they were having this big dinner. It wasn't even a big dinner. It was just them. It was mom and dad.
Just
and
regular
her.
dinner.
Regular dinner. And it doesn't dawn on me at the point, because they're just having this scene, but she gets pissed and walks into the other room where the children are eating at the kid table in the kitchen with the maid by themselves. And I was like, you're not even eating dinner with your kids? Like, that infuriated me. I think that was a what the fuck moment.
A lot of that has to do with the because they're money, like they're rich.
I don't care.
They're upper class.
I'm sorry. Like, how do you not eat dinner with your kids?
Yeah, but like lower class people were not having dinner in the separate room and feeding their kids in the other room. Like lower middle class people were definitely sitting at the same table.
So it's not a time frame, it's a money frame?
Well, it's both.
Money frame. I cannot.
There's still rich people today. I'm thinking of somebody that I know specifically, who, have a separate living space for their children.
We've had 3 teenage girls and a boy going through puberty. I understand that to a point. I get, like, please just go, I don't know, go in the other house. But I can't imagine living that way. I can't imagine not having your kids there, not having food with your kids, not having that. I cannot. That doesn't speak to me. That doesn't make sense to me. That hurts, and I don't understand that. I don't. I don't understand that. Even they drive me fucking nuts, and I just need a break. But, where are you going? How you doing? You okay? How's your day? Shut up, don't talk for a minute. Give me a break, because I'm going to lose it. And like, oh, you want to hug? I can't imagine not having, I miss them. I miss them when they're gone. I don't understand.
There's a lot of people that are shitty parents. And shitty is our judgment, right? Who knows? Maybe it's the right way to raise your kids. I don't think it is. But there's a lot of people even today who don't pay attention to their children, who pawn them off, do you know what I mean? And there's no judgment, because if you're say you're the mom or the dad, you're the parent that has to work. Yeah. And from the time that your kid is little, they're in daycare.
That's not what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, but it's kind of the same thing.
It's
other people raising your kids. You go on vacation and you give them away.
No. I'm gonna clarify that, because trying to provide for your family and making sure that your children are taken care of. Daycare is not pawning your kids off. Daycare is trying, like, wanting to be around them, but wanting to provide for them and making sure they're safe. I am talking about, and I'm not talking about when you have breaks, when you like go to work. Every time between then shouldn't just be work and kids. Like, you need time for yourself. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying everything you do is that separation, that your kids have their space, that yes, they exist and you love them. However, but they're not when the kids are closer to other people than to you, like the maid, for instance. Okay. So I guess it is money, the nanny, they would rather have the nanny tuck them in than you. Just when you pawn them off of nothing. This is not a shame if you're a working parent and your kid has to go to daycare, or whether that's paid stranger or somebody that's family taken care of. There is absolutely no shame in that. You just keep going. You do what you need to do. You take care of your family. Good for you. And I know that sucks. And there's people that don't have to work and choose to work. That's okay too. I'm just saying when they're an accessory, when you put them in the other room, when you're not ready to flash your accessory, what the fuck is that? That's what I'm talking about. I don't think there's shame in daycare. That's how it sounded.
No, you're right. So what was what's another one that really triggered you?
I'm done. Now I'm all like,
you're all hot and bothered.
Well, I am. I feel not hot and bothered. I'm hot and sassy. I feel like that the what you just interpreted that was as like parents that work should feel shameful for not spending every moment with their kids. And I know that's not what you mean.
See, this is me playing devil's advocate.
Oh, were you doing that on purpose?
Yeah, I like to bring up the other side of the conversation. I like to bring up the side that somebody could have interpreted what you said in that way. Or
you just like to get me riled up because you think it's funny. I get on these kicks, I get all riled up, and you're like, haha, look at that.
I do like to poke the bear a little.
Yeah, shit, I'm not. Okay, well, fine. Haha.
Can you think of something else from the series that triggered you?
Nothing.
Okay, then let's move on.
All right. I'm not triggered by anything anymore, so have fun trying to poke the bear. I'm triggerless. You're going to try and poke the bear.
Are you going to spill some more coffee on you?
Probably. I'm trying to pour it.
Let's all pause. Nobody make a sound. Be quiet. She's going to pour some coffee.
I feel so dumb.
Why?
Because I totally got sucked into you were just messing with me.
My argument or debate.
And I thought you were being a shit.
No, I'm not being a shit, because obviously I don't think if you have to put your kids in daycare that you're a bad parent. And I don't think you're a bad parent necessarily if you choose to have your children eat in the kitchen with the maid.
I do.
Well, I don't agree with it, but I don't think you're a bad parent. Because who am I?
Why can you not,
But who are we to decide? Who are we to say your choice is less than my choice?
I'm not saying but what are you trying? The world needs love, not separation.
Okay, but if that person that has, because think about it, it's a cultural thing.
Oh, you did it again. You get me riled up. I'm not. Okay, continue. I'm listening. Unriled.
It's a cultural thing. It's like the thing that we talked about with Shelley, where they put their babies out in the cold.
Yes, and you had that friend that sent that picture of the baby that was in a stroller outside of a store. But I know.
Yeah, but that's their way of doing things.
You're right. I don't. But it was. Oh God.
So there's not one that's wrong or right.
Yes.
We're not better than, and they're less than, or they're not bad parents. I don't think
it's a better or less, but I think that
it just doesn't make sense to you.
It does not.
Because you weren't raised with that. You were raised by eating dinner at the kitchen table. I was raised by eating bowls of cereal in front of the television. We had dinner at the kitchen table sometimes, most of the time. But it's all perspective. And not one is wrong or right or better than.
We don't have every meal with our kids at the kitchen table. We're totally spread out. But the way that seems is if we're sitting there, the thought of our kids joining us would be no, you have hello.
That was a big belly growl.
All right. Like, you have your space. You have your eating space. What do you need? Why are you in here? Now move. Go back to
But
your
that's
area.
your perspective. That's your take.
That's the perspective it gave, and that's what I don't agree with.
So are those people that choose to feed their children in a separate room with their maid, are they less than you? Are they bad parents?
Are they? I don't think they're loving parents.
But what if that's the level of love that they have?
Well, then maybe they should listen to the Energy is Love podcast and expand their horizons.
No, I hear they swear a lot on that podcast.
I like our kids.
I do too, and I like eating with them.
See?
Sometimes,
yeah.
Sometimes. Go fucking eat in your room. I don't want to listen to you right now. I don't care where you eat. I don't care if you eat. Go feed yourself.
Okay, so you have the opposite, right? You have the parents that prepare every meal and all of these things. And then I have that part of teenagers standing in the kitchen. What can I eat? Like, you didn't make any food. Your hands aren't broke. You can make your own damn food. So I guess it goes both ways. So but they don't like my cooking.
Baby, I think you cook great. I like your cooking.
I don't want to talk about kids anymore.
Okay. Anything else? We can wrap up. This can be a nice little short episode.
I don't know. I just don't like how it felt right now. I want to talk about real things. I don't want to fill the void with useless conversation. I want to have real conversation. And it feels like this was a fill the void.
Okay.
I don't like it.
Well, let's have a real conversation.
Well, now I'm like, I don't know. Like, do you and I, we have things to do. It's time to get back to life. I've got to get that laundry going.
We do have things to do,
yeah.
But we can still have a real conversation.
Okay.
Or we can have a real conversation next time. I'm trying to be very, 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 very respectful of you and your time. I do not want to make you feel uncomfortable. I do not want to make you feel bad. I don't want you to I just love you. I want you to be happy.
Well, I love you and want you to be happy too. Like, what was, like, I don't understand that.
What don't you understand?
Like, why you got all...
I want you to enjoy this.
What?
I want you to have fun doing this.
It's your podcast. Like, I want you to enjoy this. This is your thing. Like, I am not the common denominator here, or I probably said that wrong. It's okay. Like, I am the fluid. I can come and go. Like, you are you need to enjoy this and real conversations. Like, I feel like you need a big hug. Honey, what's wrong? Why are you sad?
I need you to take some ownership of this podcast.
This is your podcast.
It's not my podcast.
Yes, it is. This is your creation. This is your baby. And you did such wonderful things with it.
But you are a part of all of it.
Thank you.
So stop thinking of it as my podcast.
It is your podcast. And that is a beautiful thing.
Oh, it is a beautiful thing, Stephanie, and I can share in that beauty with you.
Yes, you can. Thank you.
So please stop thinking of it as my podcast that you're a guest on or that you're helping with.
Well, I didn't with Janelle, did I?
No, you didn't.
It came out
Own
about
this.
whole bunch of crazy.
Own this.
Own this. I guess I was...
Bring what you want to it. You want to have real conversations?
Yeah.
Then bring those real conversations.
Well, I didn't
you want to
bring
talk
them.
about stuff that is like important to you? Talk about stuff that's important to you. If you don't want to talk about like kids eating at kitchen tables...
That is important.
In
our
made
house.
up land of the marvelous Miss Maisel, then say, yeah, I don't really fucking care. But there was a part of that was triggering for you. So that's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, there was... I guess I don't... Maybe it's... I feel like... I don't know. Sometimes triggers are breaks. You know, you can use it as a way to see, okay, that is something I need to heal in myself. That is something I need to bring awareness to. That is something I need to focus on. Wonderful. Yay, trigger. I know what I can work on. And sometimes triggers are, I don't want to deal with these emotions that are hanging out over here. So this little insignificant thing, and not that it's insignificant, this humongously, I can talk, this huge, significant thing that is very like catastrophic and detrimental, all this, I can focus all in that, or it can be this little insignificant thing, just something that I can focus that's hanging out like back here over my shoulder. However, I guess my hand going behind me doesn't really help anybody. So I can focus on that and I don't have to focus on what I'm feeling, but then I feel empty. Then, all this comes out and I've expended this energy. For what? I feel tired. I feel drained. And I don't know. I guess I got some stuff to look at because I feel like I wanted a real conversation. It was a real conversation. Fuck. Maybe I don't know what I want. I want to feel heart connection. I want the in-depth, like feeling that connection when we talk, that looking like here we are in this, or real laughter, or real, I don't know. Yeah, this just felt like, honestly, it just felt like recording just to record, just to get it. I don't know. I don't want to be a part. I don't want to be a filler. I don't want to be a filler and talk about insignificant things for a filler. So, boy. And then you're over there. Feeling like you don't want to waste my time. You want me to have fun with this and ownership, and maybe I would like to sit closer to you next time we record. I don't like this distance. Maybe this is the old energy of, because before you sat there and I sat there and we've been close to each other. But when we were fighting, you set it up that whatever 127 episode, we were sitting here. And so I immediately feel that separation. Maybe I haven't cleared enough space from that. Go ahead. I don't know where the hell I am. You try and figure it out.
I really like when we have connected, deep, valuable conversations. I like those. I think those are important. I think that's why I like this podcast so much. But I also think that it's okay to have surface level conversations as well. I think it's okay to have connections that aren't, we can talk about the Matrix, we can talk about Jesus, we can talk about these silly things and dip our toes in the space of deep thought and contemplation, but yet not to the core of topics or connection sometimes, both in the sense of it's a fucking podcast and people listen, but also in the sense of you and I and our conversations and our connections, because at the core of our connection, it is deep.
Yeah.
It is heart. It is.
Yeah, I know that.
And just as in every other fucking space and thing, there's balance. And if you and I fought so hard to stay in that connected, deep space all the time, we would go crazy. And we would actually end up distancing ourselves even further from that space. So there's times where you just have to stay on the surface, or you have to talk about silly, not really important things, and that's okay.
I'm missing something.
What is it?
I don't know. That's what it is. I'm sitting here, I'm missing something. I don't know if it's, I definitely don't want to say connection with you because hey, if we sit in this space, so I feel like I immediately can't want that, but I feel like I'm reaching for something which is everything doesn't have to be serious. I know that we need the lighthearted. I want that. I want the funny, but the funny didn't even feel like there. Like I feel not me right now. And that's what I don't like. I do not feel like me. And I want to feel like me. So, like none of this feels
like you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like where am I? I want to feel like me. I don't want shell of a Stephanie talking. Like I want to talk. Like where'd I go? Yeah, Angel's wagging her tail. She don't know where I went either. Maybe I'm in her tail.
She's hitting right. Angel's confirming.
Why is she wagging her tail?
She's confirming that you just hit on it.
Okay, thank you,
that's
Angel.
the thing.
You're a good girl. Thank you. Well, I don't know where I went. I disappeared.
That wasn't Angel. That was me itching my shoulder.
Are you confirming too?
No, I had an itch. And I scratched it.
Me too. I need to scratch an itch, apparently.
So I think that's it, babe.
I went. Okay. Well, there's that. So I'm not going to find it here. It was a fun podcast. We talked about The Matrix. We talked about good things. And somewhere along that, I ran out of coffee. Somewhere along that, I realized, something's missing big in my life. I'm missing a big, big chunk of me. And I'm ready to go get it because this isn't working for me anymore.
Stay tuned next week on the Energy is Love podcast. As we follow Stephanie's journey to...
Oh, no.
Oh, no, motherfucker.
That's scary.
Don't do that.
I tell you, but
Yeah. You don't have to share everything with these people. These cocksuckers that are listening.
That don't like it when I say fuck.
No. I love you.
I'm going to share it with you.
Good. I hope you do.
Oh, well.
I see you very much on the path of finding what you want.
I what? Yeah.
We all are.
Right?
Yeah. We all are. I'm going to read you something.
You're going to read me something?
Pull out the old Note 8. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah. Dan posted this on social media the other day. And I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
It's a quote from Bruce Lee. Don't fucking... Bruce Lee's a badass. Yes. You're fucking Bruce Lee. So, this is the quote. Most people only live for their image. That is why some have a void, because they are so busy projecting themselves as this or that, dedicating their lives to actualize a concept of what they should be like, rather than to actualize their ever-growing potentiality as a human being, dissipating all their energy in projection and conjuring up a facade, rather than centering their energy on expanding and broadening their potential, or expressing and relaying this unified energy for efficient communication, etc.
Well, okay.
That was a mouthful.
I was. Say potential.
Yeah, I'm not saying potential. But I liked it.
I like it too.
I saved it. I screenshotted it. And thank you, Dan, for sharing that.
Thank you, Bruce Lee, for...
That's true. Thank you, Bruce Lee. But I have been caught up in that space a lot of what I am projecting or what I'm trying to be instead of being who I am and what I am, and allowing who I am to fully actualize in the space of my life. And so I liked it. It rung of truth for me. And I'm going to hopefully keep it in mind as I move forward. Because I feel like I've been doing that. I've been separating further and further from the projection of what I want to be seen as, or how I want to be in life, or how I want people to receive me. And more of what I really am and who I really am. And accepting that, but then also allowing the power of what I am and who I am and the energy that I do have to fully actualize and to come to fruition. Every time I say fruition, I think of fruit. But that's something that I think I've been working on pretty consistent. And like everything else that you and I have been talking about as of late in our life, practice.
Yeah.
Coming back to some practice.
Practice.
I love you.
I love you too. Thank you for sharing that with me.
You're welcome.
And thank you for that little realization you just had. That was cool. And I hope you feel better. But you got a sexy voice.
You like my sick voice?
No, I do not like your sick voice. I love your voice. And I'm just having fun playing with your even not sexier. Fuck.
Just having fun playing with your sex.
Well, let's go see. Let's do that next.
I love you.
That is a deep part of who I am. So can we do that?
That's what she said.
Yes, she did. All right.
Podcast out. Do you think a lion roars differently? Of course they roar differently.
Read the room, Craig. Read the room.
We're going to go back to the Matrix.
Papa Mau Mau.
I'm not making any sense with what I'm saying.
Humans were out there being humans, and I don't have the shame for that.